Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is a look at our market leading stocks via our proprietary scans as we always do. This is going to be for Tuesday, July 1st, 2014. But mostly a very light volume day here with a few signals to the downside here in the NASDAQ patch. All things considered, kind of what we were expecting. We talked about this in the trading lab. We were looking for a fairly kind of dull day as we close out the month and the quarter. Couple things here. Sina back to the upside here again today, 4% above the day's open on increased volume. That definitely could be interesting, so keep an eye on that. That's just kind of starting to curl up here out of this base. KLA 10-core clack also had a pretty good upside day today with an RPS signal to the downside and a volume bump. This bite is probably going to account for a volume bump as well. You had RPS signal to the downside, and we're seeing above average volume for today, and definitely one of the better volume readings for the day. Here's a look at the financials. We had a volume bump in Morgan Stanley, no other deviations. We do have a downside CPS in Huntington Bancorp and an RPS in Visa, but the Visa doesn't have that big volume bump that we're looking for, but it could be okay. As far as the energy names go, Valero's got a downside CPS on increased volume. That's going to be interesting for tomorrow. And not really seeing too much else. ExxonMobil has an upside RPS, but doesn't have a volume bump. Moving on to the generals. A little bit to the sell side here. We've got a volume bump today in Comcast and John Deere. We also have a volume bump in Verizon. That one doesn't have a signal associated with it. Moving on to the housing names, DHI, pretty strong day, almost 3% above the day's open with the volume bump. Hovnanian starting to reverse course here a little downside action today with some volume. Good volume today in Norfolk Southern with a downside RPS signal. UNP had good volume today. American Airlines downside signal here, almost a deviation here in the open close, no signal, but definitely a very, very weak close. And lastly, the commodities, we've got a upside contra candle in Monsanto with a volume bump. Decent volume today in AA. ACH, which has an upside RPS, and Silver Wheaton had a real strong day. Alright folks, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.